let us go down the memory lane and try to recall the day when you joined the college. The first day of college. All of you must be wondering as to how these years of education will go along, who would be my friends, and who would be the right person to talk to. Because we are all social animals, we all look forward to some kind of groups around. So what is a group? So two or more than two people form a group, right? So the first day of college, if you remember, you were like looking around, who are these guys? Do I find some similarity in these guys so that I can befriend them? How do I approach them? So I started observing them, but I was like, I don't know where I am, and I'm also questioning the same thing for others. Why are these guys here? Because I don't like them. Or maybe those ones that you liked, you are just thinking how to approach them. So during this particular process of making friends, what we did was that we went ahead and started talking to people. So talking to the guys who were like similar to you in some sense, or the ones where you felt that your frequency is matching, you started having some bond, and then you gradually made a small group of yours wherein people of similar interest or similar thought process came together, right? So what we are saying is that we have formed an informal group. And as the days progressed in the college, you found that there were some assignments given to you, some projects were given to you, and some people were assigned to work together in the group. We call it a formal group because you did not have a choice to pick them up. So broadly we describe groups as informal and formal groups. Now the question that arises is, why do we need groups, right? So the first answer is that I need some kind of security. Right? We are all social animals and we want some kind of social security around us. We want to be known that we are someone, we belong to a certain group. So I have a certain role to play in the society. So there are a number of reasons for which we join a group. Now, what happens when we join a group? So during the process of formation of group, we undergo certain stages as beautifully defined by Tuckman. So Tuckman said that there are 5 stages of group formation, and the first stage that Tuckman said was forming. That is the first day of your college, right? So we can recall them, wherein there was a lot of uncertainty. I really don't know the guys around me, and I'm feeling a little insecure what to do next. I'm trying to look for people whom I can be good friends with. The second thing what I do is that I go and approach them, try to approach few of them who I feel that are similar to me. Whatever might be the similarity, right? So what we say in the second stage of Tuckman is, this is known as storming. I'm trying to approach people and find out whether they can be my friends or not. The third stage is wherein we as group of friends, we decide that we'll do these things together, right? And there will be a formal code of conduct, or this is how we'll say hi to each other, right? We say there's some kind of norms being formed, right? And we call this third stage as norming. Now, once you have got these 3 stages done, the fourth stage that we come across to is known as performing, wherein we do jobs together. We went out for a picnic together, an outing together. We had a party together. We went to a movie together. So we had a lot of things together. And then one fine day, we completed our course, and it so happened that we had to move ahead to different locations for our jobs. And so our group got dispersed. At least we are not meeting daily for that matter. So this particular stage was known as adjourning. So we have 5 stages defined by Tuckman: forming, storming, norming, performing, and adjourning. Now the question that comes up is, what happens when I'm on the job? So I'll give you a scenario, the experience that I had on my first job. So when I joined that particular organization, I was posted to a branch. And when I entered the branch that day of joining, I found 13 members in the branch. When I entered, everybody was looking at me, who is this guy and why is he here? So when I put up my papers over there and show them, look, I've come here to join, they did welcome me and they asked me to take a seat. A formal space was defined for me. Now I spent almost 2 hours, and at least it was not just 2 hours, it was almost half of the day. That was a lunchtime when I felt that I really need to meet these guys. Nobody's talking to me. In fact, what they did was just wish me hello, hi, and that's it. How are you? That's all. So during the lunch, I started moving around, talking to people around as to who they are, what they do, and what is their background. So during that lunch hour, I got to know that there are two guys who are of my age and experience. So similar kind of background is there. So I found that they were easy to approach. We exchanged our numbers and we started talking to each other. That you can now identify as the storming stage, right? So when I sat idle for almost half day, that was forming stage, and then I moved on to storming stage. Now at the end of the day, in the evening, we shared a call, a telephonic call, and we talked to each other, and they told me how to do the things in the office. They told me this is how the work culture is. This is how the things happen over here. And they told me how to behave accordingly. That is what is norming happening around. Fine. And then the next day when I approached the branch, when I went to my seat, I found that I'm more comfortable and I started doing my job well. That is performing. I got support from my friends and then I started exploring others as well. And one fine day, after 3.5 years, I moved on to another job. So I said goodbye to all, right? So that was it journey. Now, there is another situation which comes up. Is it that simple? Is group formation that simple? Is the group behavior is that simple to understand? Probably no, because there is a lot of dynamism involved. So when I joined the organization, there were already 13 members over there. So say around after 6 months, I found that 2 of them have left the organization for a better opportunity. Fine. Then we had a new person walking in after 8 months. And so during these 3.5 years, I found, or rather I gave around 30 farewells, which means 30 people left and almost 25 people joined back. So there was a deficit. So when I left, there were less number of people. When I joined, there were more people around, right? So what was happening is that when I talk about these 5 stages, it's saying that yes, it looks a formal way of understanding how the group is formed, but in real life, these stages actually jump from one level to another. So when I was performing, everything is fine, but the moment my dear friend left, there was a vacuum, right? And now again I had to look for another good friend of mine. So what was happening is again I went into the mode of storming and norming, right? And that's how I started inducting new friends into my group. Fine. Now there is a major difference when we talk about the groups we made during our college days and the groups that were being formed at my office. So during my college days, it was more of informal groups until unless a project was given and people were identified for the project. And during my corporate career, it so happened that the groups that were being formed were more of related to the job and hence they were more formal in nature. So these were the major differences that we come across when we talk about group formation. Happy learning.